I've run another YouTube channel since August of 2022, and only recently, through 3 concrete income sources, I was able to make more than $10,000 in a month for a few months in a row. Those 3 sources were my YouTube ad revenue, my paid community, and a consulting contract. I have to make a big distinction though and say that I made over 10,000 Canadian dollars. In USD, my best month was $9,996.58. I just felt I needed that clarification, right? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nolan Michaels, and it's my goal to help other creative people become successful in business. So this video is going to cover the different ways I've made money online and which ones I would suggest you pursue yourself. There are timestamps below if you want to click around, but I want to address one big problem before we begin, and that's the concept of passive income. I specifically mentioned the word concrete earlier because the idea of passive income doesn't really exist in our reality. In your reality, at least not for a long time. Like a rich person has passive income for sure, but someone trying to get rich will not find passive income for a long time. So try to get that idea out of your head. I think it will only hold you back. Maybe I'm talking to my younger self here, but if I was your coach, I would tell you that earning money comes from creating value. And there is nothing passive about creating value. And what I just said might sound like a daunting challenge, but there is hope. The internet is the greatest opportunity. With the help of the internet, you can figure out how to do anything. Through the internet, you are no longer constrained to your immediate surroundings. On the internet, you can access the entire world. Millions and billions of customers are waiting to give you money in exchange for what you offer. So, what can you offer? If you're a creative person trying to make money online, there are 2 types of goods that you can sell: finite goods and infinite goods. Selling both of these helped me make over $10,000 a month. A finite good is something that you can run out of, and an example of this would be something like your personal time and attention. It's valuable because there's not a lot of it, while an infinite good is what you would call a digital product. Scarcity doesn't exist in the digital world. You build it once and you can sell it over and over again. I'll repeat myself and say that I sold both of these in order to make my money, but I don't really want to talk about the success of the good months, because the end goal doesn't help you out. Like, you could listen to a billionaire talk about how they made their money, and that information is basically useless to us. So I'm going to try and talk about what I did from the very beginning and show you the path that I took. Let's start with step 0. The foundational philosophy that helped me the most is channeling my creativity into education. I understand that you will feel precious about your knowledge or skills. I get it. But there's a way to relocate those feelings and open room for financial success. I want you to give away the information and sell the application. My other channel was all about this one specific AI, and I would just document and post everything I found. Everything you need to know about that AI can be found on my channel, but people still want to pay me so I can show them specifically what to do. If you're a physiotherapist, make videos about all of your best stretches. Tell everyone everything you possibly know, and then let people pay more if they want you to spend time helping them. How about a different example? Give away all of your best GPT prompts. Prove to everyone you can write good prompts, show them how generous you are by sharing something you've clearly worked hard on, and then let some of them pay you to write specific prompts for them. Be generous with your knowledge. Continue to be creative, continue to excel by exploring your niche, and start documenting what you find. Because education scales way better than creativity. There are a lot more teachers than successful artists. And as a creative person, you can tap into that stability. Be creative, but start documenting and sharing how you do it. I will record a full lecture on how to be a better teacher, but the rest of this video is going back to the path of how to make money in the digital world. We're going to go back to ad revenue, and this might be the first step for a lot of you. It's the only thing every YouTuber will have in common. A portion of your income will be built by having ads played during your videos. This isn't a high number for me, but I think I figured out how to make over 1,000 USD per month. You have to be consistent, you have to find a fan base that watches all your videos, but if you are posting consistently, that fan base will just sort of naturally appear, with the asterisk of you trying to improve and get better. The YouTube algorithm wants people to watch your videos. It's going to help you out as much as it can. If you try your best, I think there's a pretty good shot you find the way to succeed. And if you post a handful of videos per month, maybe between like 5 and 10, making over 1,000 USD is really doable. If you try to pay your rent with ad revenue, you're not going to have a good time, but it is a really cool bonus to have. So $1,000 down. How do we make the other 9,000? I think step 2 is all about being a leader in generosity. But let me explain what I mean. This next part is going to sound similar to the philosophy I brought up earlier, but now we're talking much more about action. You started moving with ad revenue and now you want to make your strides more deliberate. Step 2 on the road to $10,000 starts with the following law. If you want to sell something online, you need to give something away for free first. Shout out to Rachel Harrison's son for that one. And this isn't just referring to content like the philosophy of education. Giving something away for free means creating some sort of product and then literally giving it to your audience. This was the most important lesson I learned early on. Nobody is going to buy from you unless you show that you can do it. You need to build goodwill from your audience. You need to give without asking. So when the day comes that you do ask for their money, your audience will be primed for reciprocation. Have you ever heard the term lead magnet? I hate that word, but a lead magnet refers to the product that you give away for free. We give something away for free in exchange for that person's email. They sign up and they get an email with the PDF you made or whatever. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you're going to need a way to speak directly with the people who voluntarily engage with your stuff. That's why an email list is so important. I'll have a whole video covering how to make a good lead magnet, but for this video, let me just give you some quick tips, okay? So the easiest way of looking at it, decide what you'd like to charge money for, and then break off a little piece of it and give it to your audience for free. Do you know what I mean? This idea is the same thing a restaurant does when it gives away a free dessert with your meal. Because that's something that would normally be paid for, right? And when it's given for free, it's actually quite an enticing offer. If you're new to business and you want people to pay for the value that you provide, you need to give some of that value away for free. And like an extra pro business tip, you can give away the dessert for free and just increase the price of the rest of the meal. Instead of a $15 dinner with the option of a $4 dessert, you advertise a $19 dinner with a free dessert. The psychological value of free is worth way more to the average person than you would ever imagine. On my other channel, I've had a lot of different digital products and a lot of different freebies. At one point, I would charge like 15 bucks for a prompts pack. But as I was assembling the pack, I would cut off some of the prompts and package them together as a free gift. Inside of the free portion, I would point to the paid ones if they were interested in more. I have another example for you. In the paid community I currently run, there are over like 200 mood board codes that my members have access to. The codes just trigger a certain art style in this one particular AI image generator. Well, recently I decided to give 71 additional codes away for free. And if someone enjoys those 71, they can pay to see hundreds more inside of my community. I've made cheat sheets, informational PDFs, and like all of my YouTube videos are free as well. Basically, what I'm trying to get you to understand is don't underestimate the value of free stuff. Give as much as you can for free. That generosity will snowball, and that generosity will clear a path for you to start charging money with day one buyers. And you'll get an even clearer look at how important free stuff is when you get to the next step. Step 3 on my way to $10,000 was creating a paid offer. I've tried a bunch of different things, like any digital good is honestly the best thing ever. Again, build it once and sell it over and over. You'll never run out of supply. But the paid offer I endorse the most now, and the biggest pillar of my income, has been my private community. Inside of this group, I'm selling infinite goods in terms of my courses and information. These are digital goods that members get when they join. But I'm also selling a finite good, my time and attention. I'm extremely active within the group. I'm there every day. I read every post. If you want to talk to me and ask me for help, that's the place to do it. And this combo between digital goods and personal time spent allows me to charge a higher price. That is also a fair price. A more than fair price. And you want to talk about day one buyers? This is why step 2 for me was so important. I've collected emails for the past 3 years. I've nurtured the list, kept in contact with them. And when I have a new offer, they're the perfect people to tell first. I had 100 members sign up super fast, like the first day. Now, I'll tell you, I gave them a great deal. This is part of the foundational generosity. The first people to sign up got in for only $1 per month. I'm sure those 100 people would have paid $4 or $5 or $6 per month, maybe more. But I like rewarding the people who support me first, especially with the way Skool works. It's one of the reasons why it's my favorite platform. You can raise the price all you want, but existing members don't pay that increase. So as I kept adding value and charging more, I already had a strong foundation of regulars who are all grandfathered in with that $1 deal. And that general strategy is known as a reverse sale. I like this one a lot. You straight up tell people that the price is going to increase in the future and that now is the best time for them to join. The discount is going on right now. I actually have 2 videos all about Skool that you'll definitely want to check out. Maybe watch those later, but anyways, in September of last year, I launched a new course that was exclusive to my community. This course is amazing. I worked so hard on it. It's honestly incredible, and I had no problem raising the price of entry. It went all the way up to $39 a month. Now, I knew it was likely that most people would sign up for 1 month, take the course, and cancel. But this was an experiment I wanted to run, and the success of a private community definitely fluctuates, which is why your path might be similar to mine and there will be more steps for you to take on your way to $10,000 a month. But what are those next steps? To put it as simple as possible, you need to just keep exploring different ways of making money. So let me take a minute to tell you what I didn't do. I didn't do affiliates and I don't take sponsorships. So those are 2 roads that you could definitely explore. 2 pretty clear steps that you could take. But I don't really know how much help I can be. I mean, I'm taking affiliates more seriously now with this channel, so maybe I can keep you updated on how that goes. But yeah, I haven't taken that step yet. And then for sponsorships, I can tell you a few things actually. I can tell you that you'll get a lot of emails, and those emails will either have an offer or they will simply declare their interest and ask for your rates. If you're a new YouTuber, I think you can expect offers anywhere between like 100 and 300 bucks. They'll want either something like a 90-second spot inside of your video, or maybe a separate, completely dedicated video just about their product. I'm not going to get preachy about why I don't take sponsors, but if you make at least 4 videos per month, you can add more than $1,000 to your income for sure. Like an extra $12,000 a year is honestly so doable. You will literally be contacted by companies who want to get in front of your audience. Okay, this is the perfect time to give a real example. This is for my buddy Better Greg. He's a general contractor, and I've told him this before, but if you made content around a certain tool, like you're using a new tool for the day and you give a little narration about your thoughts, like how did it do on the job? Do you recommend it? Companies would absolutely want to start sending you free tools to test out. And like, if you found an Instagram account that was run by someone like you and they were trying different tools and showing you which ones they liked, wouldn't you follow them? I think you would. And companies know this. They want to be seen by you. They want to be seen by people who share your interest. You could be the person who showcases those tools. Maybe you ask for a flat fee to make the video and some sort of affiliate code so that if I click on the link and buy the tool, you get credit for the sale. You earn a portion of it because I never would have seen it if it wasn't for you. I mean, that's just an idea, but that is an example of what the path will look like if you start engaging with sponsors. And I've said multiple times now that I didn't go down that route, so let me get back to something that actually contributed to my income. I want to talk to you about consulting. Consulting was step 4 on my path to $10,000. But what exactly is it? I'm sure you've heard the word before, and maybe you've even seen the jokes about it. Like, what do you actually do? I can explain exactly what a consultant job is. Another person will pay you money in exchange for helping them get better results. They're trying to do something. This could be one person or a company. They know you're pretty good at this thing, and they want you to show them how to get better at it. Consulting is an example of a finite good that you can sell. And it's valuable. You're not only offering your time, you're offering your accumulated knowledge. It's a big deal. It's a serious job. Pick a random company like PetSmart. They definitely have a marketing department, but those are just regular people essentially. If PetSmart wanted to do a big commercial or something like that, they would probably hire a marketing consultant. This marketing consultant wouldn't do their job for them, but they would help them do their job. Does that make any sense? Like, if you're the consultant, you need to be able to answer their questions, and you need to be right. And if you don't know the answer, you need to know the next steps in finding the answer. Again, you're not necessarily doing the work for them, you're guiding their workers as they do their job. Anyways, consulting helps me make 10 grand a month, and there is something I really want you to carry with you into the future. You never know who is watching your channel. Like, you might get 50,000 views and that video will come with a couple hundred comments. Great. Who are those other 49,000 plus people? I don't know. But one day you might get an email from a well-respected company and they might tell you their employees watch your videos and they're wondering if you would be a good fit to teach the rest of them in a more personalized way. Consulting isn't magic. It's just someone offering to pay you for that unique combo of your time and your information. I also want to tell you that I was nervous when I took that job. Imposter syndrome for sure. Like, why would I be able to help them? But then you start doing the job. You have your 90-minute Zoom calls, and I remember having a really cool feeling of like, oh yeah, I can help these people. I can answer all of their questions. I know this stuff really well. And like, maybe that's a side tip about imposter syndrome. It only goes away during demonstration. When you're not active, imposter syndrome is. As soon as you take the action, the imposter syndrome ends. It's almost like it's there to make you so uncomfortable that you just keep moving. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you see the value in earning the right to be a consultant. And if nothing else, I hope that motivates your current self into making content. Earn a good reputation through public demonstration. I guess I also have to say, of course, the opportunities you have will depend on your niche. Like, if you're really good at a video game, you could definitely be a consultant about that game. But how many other people are monetarily desperate enough to also be good at that game? So perhaps it's up to you to keep an eye out for more valuable realms of expertise. Like, let's just use a really extreme example. If you dedicated the next 6 months to learning a skill, every day you're practicing, which of these two skills would make you more money in the future? Juggling or Photoshop? Do you see what I mean? You might have a passion for juggling, and there is nothing wrong with that, but you need to establish some sort of self-awareness and understand that your current expertise might not be valuable to a lot of people. So keep your eyes open, try to find the fun in learning a new skill. And maybe over the years you'll become an expert in something else, something that less people have mastered and something that other people want to get better at. Or maybe your current expertise is something valuable, and in that case you need to start getting your face in front of people. The only reason I was able to build these pillars of income is because I figured out how to get people to click on my videos. Make sure you watch this video next if you want my best tips. Alright, GG's pal, that was a long one. Take it easy, but I believe in you. Go get it.